Hello, miladies of inestimable value. A Sigma female doesn't follow the world, she quietly redesigns it. That line sounds dramatic, but here's the surprising part. According to behavioral studies on personality independence, women who operate outside group influence often develop unusual hobbies that sharpen their mental edge far more than traditional pastimes ever could. And that's what makes Sigma females so fascinating. Their interests don't look like hobbies at first glance. They look like strategic upgrades, emotional experiments, psychological playgrounds, and sometimes, let's be honest, a few suspiciously quiet activities that make people wonder if she's plotting world domination or just enjoying her peace. What sets her apart isn't what she does, it's how she does it. While everyone else is chasing trends, she's off exploring interests so unconventional that even Google needs a minute to catch up. Her hobbies are bold, introspective, oddly brilliant, and occasionally the type that make her friends say, "Are you okay?" while she's actually living her best life. This isn't the typical "she reads books and likes sunsets" nonsense you've heard 1,000 times. This is the deeper layer, the hidden, electrifying, slightly mischievous world of the Sigma female's favorite pastimes. The ones that shape her power, feed her solitude, sharpen her intuition, and make her stand out in ways that have nothing to do with noise and everything to do with depth. So buckle up. You're about to step into the extraordinary universe of a woman whose hobbies are as mysterious as her silence and twice as revealing. Number 1. Building mental escape rooms. Sigma females have this uncanny ability to turn their minds into private laboratories, and building mental escape rooms is one of their favorite ways to do it. It's not about daydreaming or drifting into fantasy. It's a rigorous, almost surgical kind of mental exercise. She constructs intricate scenarios in her head where she puts herself through challenges, tests outcomes, and experiments with decisions before they even happen in real life. Every thought is a puzzle piece, every emotion a door, every instinct a key. The goal isn't entertainment, it's preparation, refinement, and mastery of self. In these mental escape rooms, she confronts problems in ways no one else can. A conversation that went sideways earlier in the week, she replays it, testing different tones, strategies, and emotional responses to see how it could have gone better. A tricky life decision. She runs multiple simulations, analyzing every ripple and consequence before making a single move. She's essentially training her brain to anticipate, adapt, and overcome, and she does it all in silence. While other people react impulsively, she has already walked through 10 invisible doors, found the hidden traps, and located the best exit. There's also a thrill in the complexity. The deeper and more challenging the puzzle, the more engrossing the experience. She loves the tension of testing herself against her own mind, of seeing how far she can stretch her thinking without losing clarity or composure. It's the ultimate personal growth exercise disguised as a private game, and it's addictive. Over time, it sharpens intuition, hones decision-making, and builds an almost preternatural sense of timing and awareness. What makes it extraordinary is the secrecy of it all. Nobody knows she's doing it. It's invisible, quiet, and entirely her own. Each mental escape room is a self-made arena for evolution, a place where she can practice control, creativity, and strategy without judgment or interference. By the time she steps back into the real world, she's not just prepared, she's ahead. She's already lived 10 outcomes, solved 10 puzzles, and walked out smarter, sharper, and untouchably calm. This is why Sigma females seem so effortless. While the world scrambles and reacts, she's been inside her own mental escape rooms, training, testing, and emerging ready for anything. Number 2, disrupting her comfort zones on purpose. For a Sigma female, comfort is not a reward, it's a trap. She understands that staying too cozy leads to stagnation, so she actively seeks ways to unsettle herself. This is not about recklessness or thrill-seeking. It's about calculated disruption. She deliberately shakes up routines, questions familiar patterns, and steps into situations that push her limits mentally, emotionally, and sometimes even physically. Every small disruption is a test, a challenge she sets for herself to grow stronger, sharper, and more adaptable. She might change her schedule in ways that make her think differently, take on tasks she doesn't naturally excel at, or confront people and ideas she usually avoids. These aren't random acts. They are precise experiments designed to teach her resilience, sharpen her instincts, and expand her perspective. By willingly entering moments of discomfort, she learns to remain calm when chaos strikes, to think clearly when pressure mounts, and to move strategically when others panic. Each disruption is a rehearsal for life's unpredictability. There's also an undeniable thrill in the process. She enjoys testing herself against her own boundaries, seeing how far she can stretch without breaking. Discomfort becomes a playground where she hones patience, mental toughness, and creativity. She learns to navigate challenges without relying on external validation, turning potential fear into fuel. Unlike most people who flee discomfort or complain about change, she actively seeks it, understanding that growth rarely comes from the easy or familiar. Over time, this practice becomes a subtle superpower. People around her notice her calm in crisis, her ability to adapt seamlessly, and her magnetic confidence. But few realize it stems from countless deliberate disruptions she's imposed on herself. Each challenge faced quietly strengthens her sense of control, her emotional agility, and her ability to operate independently of the world's noise. By turning discomfort into a tool rather than a threat, the Sigma female doesn't just survive change, she thrives on it. She crafts a life where growth is inevitable, resilience is habitual, and the unexpected is simply another opportunity to sharpen herself. It's this deliberate, almost mischievous disruption of her own comfort zones that sets her apart, making her formidable, intriguing, and utterly unstoppable. Number 3. Breaking emotional patterns. Like their puzzles. Sigma females have an extraordinary ability to treat their own emotions like a complex puzzle to be solved, rather than a problem to be endured. Every reaction, every impulse, every flare of frustration or surge of excitement is examined, dissected, and analyzed. She doesn't just feel, she studies, maps, and decodes her emotional responses to understand why she reacts the way she does and how she can improve. This is not coldness or detachment, it's strategic mastery. She wants to be in control of herself first, before the world even has a chance to test her. She recognizes repetitive emotional patterns early. A sudden irritation at someone's careless comment, a wave of insecurity when her independence is challenged, or an inexplicable longing she can't name. She spots it, isolates it, and traces it to its source. Then she experiments with responses, testing alternative ways to react, until she discovers the approach that keeps her centered, calm, and unshakable. Over time, she rewrites her own emotional code, turning instinctive reactions into intentional behaviors. What once would have thrown her off balance now becomes a lever for strength. There's a hidden thrill in this process. She treats her emotions like a challenge she can conquer, a puzzle that rewards patience and insight. It's not about suppressing feelings. It's about understanding them so thoroughly that they no longer hold her hostage. She builds resilience, emotional agility, and a kind of inner peace that feels untouchable to anyone around her. People may notice her calm under pressure or her uncanny ability to navigate conflict, but they rarely see the mental work behind it. By breaking emotional patterns intentionally, she creates freedom from her own internal chaos. Every habit, every knee-jerk reaction, Every old emotional wound is an opportunity to experiment, decode, and evolve. This is why Sigma females appear so composed, so untouchable, so enigmatic, because they've studied themselves harder than anyone else could ever study them. They are not just surviving their emotions, they are mastering them, transforming every past weakness into an invisible power that shapes every choice, every interaction, and every step of their extraordinary lives. Number 4. Being an unofficial human lie detector. Sigma females have a quiet, almost eerie talent for reading between the lines. They don't just listen to what people say, they watch how they say it, noticing the tiniest cracks in tone, fleeting micro-expressions, and subtle inconsistencies that most people miss entirely. Over time, they develop a kind of sixth sense for dishonesty and hidden intentions. It's not paranoia. It's an instinct honed by careful observation and an understanding of human behavior. Where others take words at face value, she deciphers the unspoken truth beneath. This skill doesn't come from training or textbooks, it comes from curiosity and discipline. She observes without judgment, stores patterns in her mind, and compares them to past experiences. A hesitation before a smile, a pause in speech, a flicker in the eyes. These are all data points she collects and analyzes silently. She's less interested in catching someone in a lie for drama, and more interested in understanding the underlying truth of the situation. Every interaction becomes a subtle exercise in decoding intentions, and she does it effortlessly while others remain oblivious. The thrill lies in precision. She knows the exact moment when someone's facade falters, and she can read the truth before a single word is confirmed. It's empowering because it gives her control over her own decisions and interactions. She can navigate relationships, business, and social dynamics with a clarity that seems almost unfair. People underestimate her because she rarely confronts lies openly. She simply adjusts, moves strategically, and lets the truth reveal itself without a fight. This talent also keeps her insulated from manipulation. While the world is full of people projecting, exaggerating, or deceiving, she moves through life with a quiet advantage, rarely taken off guard. She sees the hidden currents, anticipates shifts, and understands motives before they're acted on. Being an unofficial human lie detector is more than a hobby. It's a form of self-preservation, a tool for mastery, and a demonstration of her unparalleled awareness. This is why Sigma females are often misunderstood. Their perception of reality runs several layers deeper than anyone around them, making them calm, calculated, and nearly impossible to deceive. Number 5. Doing silent competitions. With herself, Sigma females thrive on challenges, but unlike most people, her competitions are rarely with others. They're with herself. She measures success not by beating someone else, but by surpassing the version of herself that existed yesterday. Every action, decision, or thought becomes an opportunity to quietly outdo her past self, to elevate her skills, mindset, and emotional resilience. There's a silent intensity to this practice, a private arena where failure isn't public embarrassment. It's feedback, and victory is internal mastery. She tracks her progress in subtle ways. Perhaps she notices how calmly she handled a stressful situation compared to last week, how much sharper her intuition is in reading people, or how she managed impulses she would have struggled with before. Each observation fuels her next move, each adjustment fine-tunes her approach, and each small triumph builds momentum. This isn't a hobby for the faint of heart. It's rigorous, relentless, and deeply rewarding. While others chase recognition or applause, she competes in a space invisible to the outside world, where the stakes are higher because they matter to no one but her. There's a thrill in the secrecy. She relishes the fact that her victories are her own, immune to jealousy, critique, or interference. Every personal milestone, emotional, intellectual, or physical, becomes a marker of progress, proof that she is evolving on her own terms. Her competitors may never know they were competing at all. In reality, the only one she needs to impress is herself. Over time, this habit transforms her into a force that seems effortless to outsiders. She carries a quiet confidence, a sense of control, and an uncanny calm because she has already faced and bested countless versions of herself. Her internal competitions sharpen her judgment, strengthen her resilience, and cultivate a self-reliance that few can rival. By constantly striving to outdo her own past, the Sigma female creates an unshakable version of herself. Someone who grows silently, moves strategically, and commands life without ever needing an audience. Number 6. Designing her own worldview from scratch. Sigma females don't just accept the rules society hands them, they quietly dismantle them and rebuild their own systems from the ground up. Designing her own worldview is an obsession, a hobby that blends intellect, intuition, and unapologetic independence. She examines everything she's been taught, every assumption the world expects her to accept, and tests it against her own reasoning. If it doesn't hold up, it gets discarded. She doesn't blindly conform. She engineers a perspective that aligns perfectly with her values, her experiences, and her sense of truth. This process is intense and deeply personal. She dissects social norms, cultural expectations, and even moral absolutes, picking apart what resonates and what doesn't. The things she keeps are refined, meaningful, and uniquely hers, while the rest is stripped away without hesitation. Over time, she constructs a mental framework so precise and self-reliant that outside influences barely penetrate it. Her worldview becomes a kind of internal compass that guides every decision, reaction, and relationship. It's not static, it evolves as she evolves, but it's always hers, untouched by external pressure or fleeting trends. There's a subtle power in this self-creation. While the world follows inherited blueprints, she moves with intention, clarity, and foresight. People often mistake her calm and confidence for luck or charm, but it stems from a mind that has already reasoned through the chaos, contradictions, and manipulations of life. She knows what she values, why she values it, and how to act without compromising her internal code. Designing her own worldview also allows her to operate beyond conventional limits. She questions boundaries, challenges traditions, and interprets experiences through a lens no one else can replicate. This gives her freedom, resilience, and a strategic advantage in every interaction. She's untethered from the herd, anchored only to principles she has consciously chosen. This is why Sigma females are both enigmatic and formidable. Their independence isn't loud or performative. It's a product of deliberate mental architecture. By designing her own worldview from scratch, she doesn't just live in the world. She navigates it with unmatched precision, creating a life that reflects her intelligence, insight, and unshakable self-mastery. Number 7. Creating emotional vaults. Sigma females have a unique way of handling their emotions that sets them apart from everyone else. They don't just feel, they archive. Every experience, every memory, every insight is carefully collected and stored in an internal vault, meticulously organized and safeguarded. This isn't about being cold or distant, it's a deliberate strategy. By compartmentalizing her emotions, she ensures that nothing is wasted, nothing is lost, and everything can be accessed with precision when it matters most. These emotional vaults allow her to revisit past experiences without being overwhelmed by them. She can analyze a betrayal, a triumph, or a fleeting moment of clarity with the patience of a strategist. Each memory becomes data, each emotion a lesson, and each insight a tool she can deploy when navigating the complexities of life. She doesn't let feelings run wild or dictate her actions impulsively. Instead, she stores them, sharpens them, and returns to them exactly when they can serve her purpose. There's a quiet power in this practice. While others are reactive, swept away by transient emotions, she remains poised and controlled. She can draw from her vault to recall lessons learned, anticipate people's behavior, or even craft responses that are precise and impactful. Her emotional intelligence is amplified because she's constantly building a repository of understanding, empathy, and self-awareness. Over time, these vaults become almost legendary in their efficiency. She knows which feelings to engage with, which memories to release, and which lessons to apply in any given moment. This makes her exceptionally resilient, adaptive, and mysterious. People may see her calm exterior and assume she's untouched by life's ups and downs, but the truth is that she has simply mastered the art of emotional storage, turning vulnerability into a source of silent strength. Creating emotional vaults is more than a habit. It's a form of self-mastery. It's how Sigma females transform raw experience into strategic advantage, ensuring that every feeling has purpose, every memory has value, and every insight becomes a stepping stone to greater power, clarity, and independence. Number 8. Studying the subtext behind compliments and criticism. Sigma females have a remarkable ability to read between the lines. She doesn't take words at face value. Whether it's praise or criticism, everything is analyzed, dissected, and examined. Every compliment carries layers: intent, expectation, insecurity, or manipulation. Every criticism is passed not just for content, but for hidden motives, emotional undercurrents, and the psychology of the person delivering it. For her, words are never innocent. They are signals, codes, and tiny windows into the true nature of others. This practice isn't born of paranoia. It's intellectual curiosity in its purest form. She finds entertainment in understanding the subtleties of human behavior, in decoding the silent messages people convey unintentionally. The way a comment is framed, the tone of voice, the timing, these become clues, data points, pieces of a puzzle she is constantly solving. She sees people's intentions before they even consciously realize them themselves, and she stores these observations as strategic knowledge she can apply later. There's a skillful artistry to this. While most people react to compliments with vanity or to criticism with defensiveness, she navigates both with calm precision. A compliment is considered, appreciated, but mentally catalogued for context. Criticism is absorbed, evaluated, and dissected, often revealing patterns of insecurity, projection, or truth that others miss. In this way, she converts social interactions into a personal study of human behavior, sharpening both intuition and judgment. This constant analysis gives her an edge. She learns to anticipate hidden agendas, detect subtle manipulation, and understand emotional currency in relationships and social dynamics. While others are caught off guard by words and their consequences, she operates several steps ahead, translating language into insight and strategy. Studying the subtext behind compliments and criticism isn't just a hobby. It's a mental sport, a form of entertainment, and a tool of empowerment. For a Sigma female, understanding the truth behind every word gives her clarity, control, and the subtle advantage that makes her both fascinating and untouchable in a world that often says one thing while meaning another. Number 9. Practicing invisible presence. Sigma females have an extraordinary talent for moving through the world unnoticed, and practicing invisible presence is one of their favorite ways to refine it. She doesn't seek attention or validation. Instead, she intentionally blends into her environment, becoming almost a ghost while everyone around her reveals their true colors. This is more than people watching. It's a precise, strategic observation of human behavior in its rawest, most unguarded form. She studies interactions, energy, and subtle dynamics, all while remaining entirely off the radar. The beauty of this hobby is its dual purpose. On one hand, it's psychological entertainment, a way to learn the intricacies of human nature without interference. On the other, it's a strategic tool. By seeing how people behave when they believe no one important is observing, she gathers insights others miss. She understands loyalties, insecurities, unspoken hierarchies, and hidden agendas. Every laugh, every glance, every slip of honesty becomes data she can use to navigate future encounters with precision. What makes it extraordinary is the discipline required. Remaining invisible requires self-control, subtlety, and patience. She must resist the urge to react, comment, or influence, even when her instinct might demand it. It's a test of restraint as much as intelligence, and she thrives on the tension of being fully present while completely unnoticed. Over time, this hobby sharpens her intuition, hones her social radar, and cultivates an almost uncanny ability to read situations and people accurately. She learns patterns, predicts behavior, and understands environments on a level most never experience. People often underestimate her because she doesn't make her presence known. But in reality, she's absorbing, calculating, and growing stronger with every silent observation. Practicing invisible presence isn't just a pastime for a Sigma female. It's a quiet form of power. It teaches patience, perception, and control. While others react to the world as it appears, she sees it as it truly is, armed with insight few ever notice. It's subtle, strategic, and profoundly effective, a reflection of the unique depth and mastery that defines her. Number 10. Turning loneliness into power. For most people, loneliness feels like a void, something to escape from or fill with distractions. For a Sigma female, it's the opposite. It's a goldmine. She doesn't run from being alone. She leans into it, extracting every ounce of growth, insight, and energy that isolation offers. Loneliness isn't a burden for her. It's a tool, a deliberate space where she sharpens her mind, hones her instincts, and reinforces her sense of self. In solitude, she finds clarity. Thoughts that get drowned out in noise become crystal clear when she's alone. Decisions become easier, priorities sharpen, and internal doubts lose their power. Loneliness strips away the superficial chatter of the world, leaving only what matters most. She uses this quiet space to analyze past experiences, understand people and patterns, and prepare for future challenges without anyone else influencing her perspective. Creativity thrives in her solitude. She experiments with ideas, tests mental strategies, and develops new approaches to life, all in the privacy of her own space. While others might feel bored or restless, she turns isolation into a laboratory of thought and self-improvement. Each hour alone is an investment in her personal power, turning potential discomfort into tangible advantage. Strength is another byproduct. Sigma females build resilience in the silence. They face their fears, confront insecurities, and strengthen emotional endurance without relying on external validation. Loneliness becomes a proving ground where she learns that she doesn't need the approval, presence, or attention of others to feel complete or capable. Over time, this deliberate engagement with solitude transforms her. She emerges sharper, calmer, and more self-assured than those constantly chasing connection. The world may mistake her independence for aloofness, but in reality, it's a reflection of her mastery over herself and her environment. By mining loneliness instead of fearing it, a Sigma female turns what others avoid into a unique source of clarity, strength, creativity, and unshakable self-certainty, making her quietly unstoppable. Number 11. Collecting people's tells without them. Knowing Sigma females have an almost imperceptible talent for observation, and collecting people's tells is one of their most fascinating hobbies. She doesn't just listen to words, She studies patterns, movements, and subtle cues that reveal what people are really thinking and feeling. A flicker in the eyes, a shift in tone, a momentary pause, or even the way someone fidgets can all be signals she notices and mentally catalogues. She builds an internal encyclopedia of behavior, a detailed map of how people operate, all without ever alerting them to her scrutiny. This is not nosiness, it's strategic intelligence. Each observation is stored and analyzed, giving her an edge in social dynamics, negotiations, and personal interactions. By quietly observing, she learns to predict reactions, anticipate motives, and understand unspoken intentions. What most people take at face value, she sees layered with nuance and hidden meaning. Over time, she becomes almost instinctively aware of the emotional currents around her, able to navigate complex social situations with precision and subtlety. There's also a playful mastery in this process. She enjoys uncovering inconsistencies, spotting micro-expressions, and recognizing the patterns that others don't even realize exist. Every behavior she observes becomes a tool, an insight she can draw on when needed, whether to respond, protect herself, or manipulate outcomes in her favor. The thrill lies in her invisibility. People act naturally, unaware that their habits, tells, and emotional slips are being carefully recorded in her mind. This hobby enhances her intuition, patience, and strategic thinking. She rarely reacts impulsively because she has already decoded the situation internally. What appears effortless to the outside world is the result of countless quiet observations, stored knowledge, and careful analysis. Collecting people's tells without them knowing is more than a pastime. It's a form of subtle power. It allows Sigma females to understand, predict, and navigate human behavior with a mastery that makes them enigmatic, formidable, and almost untouchable in any social environment. Number 12. Playing the energy economy. Game Sigma females treat their emotional energy like currency, and playing the energy economy game is one of their most calculated and fascinating hobbies. She doesn't spend herself recklessly or distribute attention evenly. Every ounce of focus, patience, or enthusiasm is deliberately allocated. Sometimes she gives just 1%, keeping the majority of her energy in reserve. Other times she invests 70%, observing how people respond and how dynamics shift. This is not manipulation for its own sake, but an experiment in influence, awareness, and personal boundaries. She monitors the results carefully. Who matches her energy? Who overreaches or fades when the situation changes? How do different levels of emotional investment alter interactions, outcomes, or power balances? Every social exchange becomes a test of strategy, a way to understand human behavior and refine her own approach to relationships and social navigation. The feedback is immediate and informative, helping her make smarter choices about where to invest herself next. There's an intellectual thrill in this practice. Managing energy with precision requires observation, patience, and restraint. She becomes attuned not only to her own limits, but to the subtle fluctuations in others' behavior. By controlling how much energy she gives and when, she maintains autonomy and ensures that her focus is never wasted on situations or people that drain her unnecessarily. Over time, this hobby builds resilience, influence, and psychological insight. People may notice her calm, measured presence or her ability to stay composed when others lose their balance, but they rarely realize it comes from careful energy management behind the scenes. She has learned to guard her vitality, invest it where it matters, and withdraw it when it doesn't, turning emotional economy into a powerful tool for self-preservation and strategic advantage. Playing the energy economy game isn't just a pastime for a Sigma female. It's a form of empowerment. It teaches control, sharpens intuition, and allows her to move through the world without losing herself to chaos, drama, or unnecessary conflict. By budgeting her emotional energy deliberately, she ensures that every interaction works for her, building a quiet but undeniable power that makes her both intriguing and untouchable. Sigma females are not defined by trends, approval, or the expectations of the crowd. Their hobbies are not mere pastimes. They are extensions of their minds, strategies for growth, and tools for mastering the complex world around them. From building mental escape rooms to playing the energy economy game, from collecting people's tells to turning loneliness into power, each interest reveals a layer of intelligence, self-mastery, and independence that most people will never fully understand. These are the activities of women who move through life silently observing, calculating, and evolving, creating invisible advantages that make them formidable in ways the world rarely notices. What makes these hobbies extraordinary is not just their uniqueness, but the intentionality behind them. Every action, every thought, every moment of reflection is a deliberate step toward becoming sharper, stronger, and more in tune with herself and the world around her. Sigma females operate on a level that blends strategy, intuition, and self-awareness in a way that seems effortless, yet it is meticulously crafted. Their lives are not dictated by external validation. They are architects of their own experience, curating a reality that empowers them, challenges them, and constantly drives them toward mastery. Understanding these hobbies offers more than insight into their minds. It provides a window into a philosophy of life built on independence, intelligence, and calculated power. It shows how a Sigma female can transform solitude into clarity, observation into knowledge, and personal discipline into influence, creating a life that is as enigmatic as it is unstoppable. If you found yourself fascinated by the world of Sigma females and the extraordinary ways they channel their energy, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into unique personalities and strategies. Don't forget to like this video, share it with friends who need to see it, and leave a comment with your thoughts or experiences. Join the conversation and explore the hidden depths that make Sigma females so captivating and exceptional. The more you engage, the deeper we go, because understanding this world is not just intriguing, it's transformational.